So it's going to be time to do a full example. Here we go. Let's put everything together. So where's my example? Where on my notes? Just bear with me a second. So here we go. A company sells fruit juice in cartons. The amount of juice has a normal distribution. Standard deviation's 3. Okay. I'm going to do this at the start, so I'm going to talk about the population. So there's 3. The company claims that the mean amount is 60. Okay, great. That's done. A trading inspector has received complaints that the company is overstating the mean. So what does it actually mean when they say that? It means that if it's overstating, it suggests that it's actually less. Okay, that they're sort of cheating. I can also see this number here. This also suggests that they could be cheating. They could be lying about that. We're going to investigate. The trading inspector takes a sample. Okay, so this is a sample. So they take a sample. 16. Okay, so for the sample, remember, we assume that the mean will be the same. The standard deviation is whatever it was before by root. So that's 4, isn't it? Because root 16 is 4, just for the sake of clarity. That's why I'm writing that. So that's the distribution here. And then the observed result, okay, the observed result is 59.1. So that's what we're going to look at on the diagram. It's over here somewhere. So how unique, how special is this result? That is the question. Well, we've got a 5% significance level, so 5%. And if we work out the probability that it is less than 59.1, that number comes back as 0.1151. The interpretation of that number is if the situation is correct, if this is the population, or I should say, if this is how the sample means are done, you get a result like this 11.5% of the time. Doesn't sound very special, does it? So it's not unique, it's not extreme, it's not special enough, okay? It's greater than our significance level. So it's going to be except H0, okay? We are not changing our mind. This is not enough though, okay? We need to put this into context, always. So except H0, there is insufficient evidence, or not enough evidence, there is insufficient evidence that the company is overstating, yeah? The company is overstating the mean amount of juice in each container, in each carton. So what I'm doing here is I'm scanning the original text up here to check that I am being particular enough. When you skip this, you will drop marks. It's not that you might, you will drop marks. Contextualized conclusions are a must for normal stats and for further stats as well. You need to put conclusions into context. So there we go. This is a full sort of maybe 4 or 5 mark, probably 5 mark question. This is how you would do it. Let's get you to try one last question. So here we go. We are doing Roasties Coffee. Okay, Roasties Coffee. So I'll give you a chance to give it a read and then we will talk through. So for this one, we are going to be saying H0 should be that mu is 250. H1 should be that it's less, so this is a one-tailed test. If you look at the mark scheme will show you how to do this sometimes in a very, very different way, which is not what I'm going for at the moment. So let's go through this one. So the distribution is normal. It's going to be 250. I've got 5.4. Okay. I still need n, so that's root 90, isn't it? So that's what I would be doing. So I'm just going to put that into normal CD on my calculator. So what are we doing? We are doing observed value of 248. So 248 should be the upper tail. So I'm going to do my lower tail as minus 1,000. That seems to be what I always pick. 248. This is going to be 5.4 divided by the square root of 90. Which apparently, just for the sake of clarity, this standard deviation is approximately 0.5692. The mean is 250. Okay, so I get a really extreme result here. I get, for the probability that this is less than 248, it's a tiny number, okay? This is in standard form for me. So 2.210 times 10 to the minus 4. Okay, this is an exceptional result. So it seems quite likely then it's actually a case of the company, is underpacking the packets. So your conclusion would be there is enough evidence. I don't actually have to say anything about H0, by the way. If I put this in context, that's not sufficient. So there is enough evidence to suggest, I just need to put this in context. There is enough evidence to suggest that the mean weight of the packets, is less than 250, something like that, okay? Or you can also say there is sufficient evidence that the manager's claim is correct. That's another way that you can do it. Okay, but I have limited space here, so conclusion in context is a must. Right, there are some other ways that we could do this. So let's have a look. We're going to do some critical regions. Okay, let's just talk through for this one, all right? So let's have a look at this example. A machine has bolts of a diameter, normal distribution, means 0.58, standard deviation, okay? So we can jump in here and we can see that's about the population. A sample of 50, so here we go. This is about the sample, okay? And the distribution is still normal. Yeah, so if you see something like this, the distribution of the bolt still has a normal distribution. This isn't really impacting anything. It's just telling you that this over here stays as this. That's all it means. So please don't be put off by that. So what we could do for this instead is we could find the critical region. Now, the critical region is the set of values that makes you reject H0. So is this a one-tailed or two-tailed we're doing here? To see if the mean diameter has changed. So this is two-tailed. So what we can do is we can use this distribution. We can use this with our inverse normal on our calculator. Remember that? So for the inverse normal, if it's at a 1% level, my 1%, I can split that into two, can't I? I can split that into 0.005, and I can do a 0.05 there on the inverse normal mode, and it will give me that. I can also do inverse normal here. Remember, inverse normal is from the left upwards, so this will be 0.995. I can do inverse normal on my calculator and it will give me that one. All right, so critical region approaches with a normal distribution should make you very happy. Okay, it's a really, really nice thing to be asked to do because you can use the inverse normal mode on your calculator. If you look at some old mark schemes, you will see that they talk about coding and using the Z values, but that's not strictly necessary with the modern calculators. Okay, So it tells us then that this is 0.575, this is 0.585, so really very, very tight margins on this one, but that's how you can find your critical region. Okay, and then there's just one more question here for you to have a go at as well for yourself, and we will look at the answer together. So I'd encourage you on this one to try the critical region approach using the inverse normal and to see what you come up with. And looking through, here we go. So we have a mean of 100, we have a one-tailed test because it talks about improving your score. Our significance level is 2.5%. If it's one-tailed, it's going to stay that way. Here is our initial distribution. This isn't written nicely yet, is it? Because that's going to be the same as 15 over root 80 squared. This is for the sample. That's why it's got a bar on top. Okay, using the inverse normal function of our calculator, we want the top, don't we? We want the top 2.5%. So the top 2.5% means you need to use 975, yeah? And that would give you this value, okay? On the diagram, this is 100, so you get 2.5% left, or 0.025, when you have that value there of, what is that, 103.287. Very useful function on the calculator, yes? A mean score of a sample of 80, again, is 102. So what do we think? Well, 102 is about here somewhere. So this is not special, this is not unique, it's not significant. Yeah, not significant would be the language. So it's not significant. If it's not significant, it means there is not sufficient evidence to say that eating chocolate before an IQ test improves the result. So as you now have a go at some more normal distributions, I'm afraid the chocolate won't help you. There we go. That takes us to the end there. So very, very well done on following up to this point here. Okay, we will do one last video about conditional probability too.